right, everyone. Welcome to Brandon at Random Reviews, covering one unsystematically chosen movie at a time. Today, the movie is First Blood, released on October 22nd, 1982, directed by Ted Kotcheff. For the cast, we have Sylvester Stallone as John Rambo, Brian Dennehy as Teasel, and Richard Crenna as Troutman. For the plot synopsis, a Vietnam War veteran who is searching for men he served with in the war is intercepted by police in a local town for vagrancy and has to fight for his life when he escapes and they begin a manhunt. Alright guys, let's just dive right into this motherfucking movie. It's strange, I'm never not in the mood for this movie. We start off by seeing Rambo learning that one of his war buddies passed away from cancer as a result of chemical exposure in Vietnam. But this lady really lets Rambo believe her loved one is not dead for an unnecessarily long time. It's like, come on, lady. He runs into a sheriff named Teasel as he walks through a small mountain town. Teasel is very unwelcoming to Rambo because he seems to be a drifter, but he gives him a ride in the direction he's going and drops him off in hopes of getting rid of him, but he ultimately arrests Rambo when he sees him head back into town. As Rambo is brought into the police station, he begins having flashbacks from the war, and the mistreatment by the officers escalates as they attempt to book him. When they finally get him into a cell, one of the officers hits him with his baton, and then they turn a fire hose on him in the shower. But when they attempt to get him shaved up, he gets very worked up and resistant, and the blade triggers another flashback, and he snaps and takes multiple men out and breaks free. Eventually, a chase takes Rambo out to the mountains, and the police eventually lose him, but continue on his trail. It seems they now have a vendetta against Rambo for not respecting their authority. It becomes very evident to the viewer that John Rambo has more skills and expertise than that of an ordinary soldier. I mean, it should also be very obvious to the cops too, but they're a pack of arrogant dummies who get pissier and more in denial by the second. At one point at the end of the chase, Rambo is hanging off of a rock formation, and one of the hot-headed officers shoots at him from a helicopter, and despite nicking him, Rambo continues to flee. The officer who shoots Rambo falls to his death from the helicopter, and the other cops seem pretty bummed about it. Rambo attempts to make peace, but instead of doing anything reasonable, they fire a couple of shots at him and he escapes again. Oh, they also find out this Rambo character is a decorated Green Beret. Nightfall is approaching, and this team of officers follows him into the woods and seems so out of their league against this one dude who frankly doesn't even enunciate super well, and that has to be salt in an open wound for them. Rambo sets up a few traps to incapacitate some of the men. Sometimes he hides and straight up attacks them. Mind you, these men are armed, and Rambo really just started off with a big hunting knife. Eventually, the head officer Teasel is confronted by Rambo, who holds a knife to his neck and makes it clear that he is giving them a chance to back down. But if they decide not to back down, they are gonna get got, son. Rambo lets Teasel go, and the cops regroup, and they're visited by one Colonel Troutman, who advises them that they are totally fucked if they continue direct pursuit of Rambo. Of course, Teasel is fucking foaming at the mouth, not wanting to accept this reality. Rambo manages to set up camp and find a working radio. Troutman contacts him over the open channel and tries to reason with him, hoping to end this situation with a more peaceful outcome, but Rambo refuses, knowing that the treatment he has received more than crossed a line. It's important to note that Rambo has literally nothing to lose at all. At one point in a standoff with Rambo, some of the soldiers believe they kill him during a shootout, but of course he gets away and has to run through a flooded mine shaft and has to fight off rats crawling all over him. At one point, Rambo steals one of the army trucks and is pursued by the police. This is the start of an all-out onslaught of the town where Rambo is now equipped with powerful weapons, and Teasel is as pissy as Rambo is angry. Honestly, I think these guys should settle this with a pickup game of hoops at this point. That would decide who the real man was. We get a little cat and mouse game with the two of them, where Teasel aims down through a skylight, but misses Rambo, and Rambo shoots him multiple times through the ceiling, but doesn't totally kill him, and Troutman confronts Rambo before he can finish the job. In a truly emotional and well-performed scene, Rambo vents all of his frustrations with the war, and especially post-war life. He tells this story about how him and his men were ambushed by a kid in Vietnam. He just hasn't been able to cope with what he dealt with there, and it's made made it so hard since he left. Finally, a teary-eyed Rambo leaves in police custody without a fight, and fuck, that was a ride. And alright, on to ratings. IMDb 7.7, Letterboxd 3.8, Rotten Tomato critics score 86%, Rotten Tomato audience score 86%, personal rating 5 out of 5 stars. This film is in my mind the start of the one-man army type film, and it set the bar incredibly high for many years to come. Alright everyone, thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. Bye now.